Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I want to thank the fans for their warm wishes, the kind words on my community page. Yesterday was the last day of filming for Mountain Magic Christmas, starring Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, and other celebrities. I was an extra. Uh, Perhaps if you watch the movie, you'll see Queen in a casino scene, front row, and also the scene I filmed last night is on the stair landing. I should be at the top of the stairs, which would possibly be to your, if you're watching it, maybe, let's see, I don't know, to your right. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I met some wonderful ladies there, gents, a lot of nice people, and we are now friends. Those people who you see in those photographs, we are communicating with one another, and they are some wonderful, wonderful people, and I truly enjoyed their company. They made me feel good, and the Queen shared a couple of laughs and jokes because I do that well. So that's the gist of that. Thank you all so much. What you say? Your face got plumpy, did it? Probably because I'm putting on weight. That's why it's plumpy. Thanks for calling that out, Miss Lady. You don't see me with my natural hair a lot. You don't see me live a lot. So my face is probably going to look a little fuller. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't look, different. I've noticed in some of my photographs, I do look a little different, but all that hair I have covers my face. So thank you, Pandora's Box. Thank you. Yeah. Kate just come in telling me what I done put on weight since you last saw me. Let's get to the gist of the story, everybody. This information is pertaining to a man in Tampa who shot his children. One is in critical condition. I want to talk about this. Thank you so much for the warm wishes. Thank you all. I want to talk about this story briefly because this is a very disturbing story. If you listen to the content coming out of Tampa from, I guess it would be the chief of police or sheriff, there's something not right with the story, in my opinion. In my opinion, the details relate, something's off. I'm going to bring you two sources of information. I'm going to play you the latest pertaining to the bond, and I'm going to bring you information pertaining to what neighbors heard and saw, what the mother said happened, and what the father said happened. Thank you for joining me.
Disturbing case of a father accused of shooting his own children. His 5-year-old daughter did not survive, and his 8-year-old son is improving, but still in intensive care. Fox 13's Kelly Cowan has more on the boy's condition, what happened in court today, and why the investigation hinges on what the mother has to say.
We learned in court today that 8-year-old Jermaine Bass has been upgraded from critical to stable condition, but still has a bullet lodged in his skull. His father, also named Jermaine Bass, did not appear for today's hearing while prosecutors argued he should be held without bond.
There's no reason for this man to execute and attempt to execute his children. And that, again, supports the state's argument. This is an individual that was too unpredictable and too dangerous to walk the streets of Hillsborough County.
Detectives testified that Bass has claimed the shooting was an accident, but that evidence at the crime scene says otherwise.
If Mr. Bass's statement to you all is that it was accidental, what were you all relying on as far as charging him with premeditated murder?
The fact that the accident doesn't explain 5 rounds being fired into 2 different children that are on 2 different bunks.
And while the judge agreed that the evidence against Bass is substantial, she took State Attorney Ron Gale to task over a misrepresentation made in his petition to hold Bass without bond.
Don't put that in a motion if you're not going to prove it. It's disingenuous.
With no prior record, Judge Catherine Catlin ruled she could not deny bail.
I'm finding that the state has not met its burden.
Wow.
As much as I realize everybody will be shocked by that, I want it clear that I follow the law.
We also learned today
Let me go back.
Wife and the children.
Let's go back, listen to the judge. Something's wrong here.
The accident doesn't explain 5 rounds being fired into 2 different children that are on 2 different bunks.
And while the judge agreed that the evidence against Bass is substantial, she took state attorney Ron Gale to task over a misrepresentation made in his petition to hold Bass without bond.
Don't put that in a motion if you're not going to prove it. It's disingenuous.
With no prior record, Judge Catherine Catlin ruled she could not deny bail.
I'm finding that the state has not met its burden. As much as I realize everybody will be shocked by that, I want it clear that I followed the law.
We also learned today that Bass's wife and the children's mother hasn't exactly been forthcoming with detectives. Homicide detectives say Shirley Bass has refused to allow them to see her phone.
She said her phone was with a friend because they were pulling photos from it to prepare for Jayla's funeral, that she would give me the phone the next day, which was yesterday, 9/1/2022. When I asked her for that phone yesterday, she said she didn't have it. It was with her attorney.
Shirley Bass was in the home when her children were shot, but detectives say she insists nothing was wrong that day, and she claims she's not sure her husband actually shot their children. And though 8-year-old Jermaine Bass has regained consciousness, detectives have not yet had a chance to interview the boy about what happened to him and his sister on Monday night. Outside the Hillsborough County Courthouse, Kelly Cowan, Fox 13 News.
Well, the Queen was right. She has not been forthcoming with information. When you go back to the beginning of the story and you hear the details laid out, something is not right with how she sets the scene to discovering the children. Let's go back to the beginning. Thank you for joining me. WFLA, Hillsborough man accused of shooting young kids in the head.
Good morning, everyone. This is a case that is not only tragic, but extremely disturbing. Around 10:30 p.m. last evening, a mother's out for dinner and is making every effort she can to get home before her children go to sleep. So she arrives at the house and goes upstairs to say goodnight to her 5-year-old daughter who sleeps in the top bunk and her 8-year-old son who sleeps in the bottom bunk. When she goes and kisses both of them goodnight, her 5-year-old daughter even giggles because she was trying to act like she was already asleep. So she kisses both her children asleep, leaves them there with the children's father, her husband, and runs to the restroom because she has to go to the bathroom. While she's going to the bathroom, she hears several gunshots. She initially believed that the gunshots happened right outside her residence, but then sometime shortly thereafter said these gunshots were too close. Fearing for her own life, she runs outside. When she runs outside, she encounters her next door neighbor. He had already made a frantic 911 call to our communication center saying that he heard several gunshots. She takes over the phone call and starts talking to our 911 dispatcher. As that phone call is occurring, the husband, the children's father, walks outside carrying the 8-year-old son, saying, "Call for help, call for help, call for help." Our deputies and Hillsborough County Fire Rescue rush to the scene and are there a short time later. When our deputies initially arrive on scene, they see the father in the family room cradling the 8-year-old son, saying it was an accident. They're like, "Sir, what do you mean it was an accident?" "It was an accident. I don't know how the gun went off. I accidentally shot my son." Fire Rescue gets there and does a wonderful job of initiating every life-saving measure that they can think of to prepare this child to be transported to Tampa General Hospital. The detectives on scene then say, "Is there anyone else inside the residence? Is there anyone else here?" They said, the husband says, my 5-year-old daughter's upstairs sleeping." Deputies go upstairs only to make the gruesome discovery that there's a 5-year-old laying in a top bunk, laying in a pool of her own blood. She is shot 2 to 3 times in her head. The same injury that the 8-year-old had sustained and suffered from. Paramedics come upstairs, again, begin life-saving measures, and rush both children to Tampa General Hospital. Our 5-year-old victim has been pronounced deceased. Our 8-year-old is fighting for his life. He went to surgery last evening, and this morning is fighting for his life, as the wonderful, wonderful doctors and staff at Tampa General Hospital are doing everything they can to save this young boy's life. This is a case that, and an experience that no parent should have to live through, and that no law enforcement officer or first responder should ever have to witness. We as a sheriff's office are struggling today. Our detectives and deputies who are on scene are going to need some help, and we're bringing some counselors in to try to get them through this gruesome scene that they had to witness, and detectives have to work through as they continue to put the pieces of the puzzle together here. Arrested is Jermaine Lavonda Bass. He's 30 years of age. His date of birth is 4/27/1992. He has been charged with first-degree premeditated murder and first-degree attempted premeditated murder and aggravated child abuse. I hope that this individual feels the full weight of the criminal justice system and never sees the light of day where he can ever be in a position to harm another human being. In Tampa Bay, we're extremely privileged. We have so many wonderful resources. The Spring of Tampa Bay. If anyone ever feels they may be a victim of family violence, pick up the phone and take advantage of such a wonderful resource. The same goes for the crisis center. It's as simple as calling 988. That's as easy it is to get the help that you may need, is to call 988. As deputies initially working through the call, and once they went upstairs and made the gruesome discovery that he had also shot his 5-year-old daughter, they read him his Miranda rights, and he declined to make any further comment. I don't know why he did this. I don't know if we'll ever know, and he didn't make any further comments except the fact when we encountered the 8-year-old son, and he said that it was an accident, that he accidentally shot his son. But you don't accidentally shoot your children 3 to 4 times in the head. Try to take any questions I can at this time.
Have there been any other calls to service at this residence?
Yeah, great question. No calls for service at this residence, and the Jermaine Bass, we find no criminal history on him.
Has the mother been able to shed on any light on whether or not there's been any prior instances of domestic violence?
Yeah, from not that we know at this time. We continue to talk to her. As you can understand, she's been through something quite traumatic. So we tread lightly as we're trying to have those conversations with her, but nothing that we know of now. But again, this is extremely preliminary. That could change as she starts to gather her thoughts, but nothing that we know of now. No indicators. Like I said, she kissed her children goodbye and went to use the restroom to go to bed herself.
How would you describe safety in this area, this neighborhood?
This neighborhood in North Tampa, up by the USF area, it's a nice neighborhood, a nice family neighborhood. Again, the neighborhood heard the gunshots and walked outside to see if he could offer any assistance, and immediately
Who goes outside when they're shooting?
Could ever ask for. So not a bad neighborhood. It's the Armature Gate
People are crazy.
townhomes, north of Fletcher Avenue, east of Barris Avenue. A nice community.
You said the mother ran outside because she thought the gunshots were happening outside.
No, she initially thought the gunshots happened outside when she was using the bathroom, but then realized that they happened inside the residence, so she ran outside real quick, and that's when she ran into the neighbor who was there to offer assistance and who had already called 911. And again, moments later, the husband, the children's father, run outside as well, cradling his 8-year-old son, saying, "Call for help! Call for help! Call for help!"
Do you have the exact address?
I do not, but we'll certainly get that to you.
Sharon, what's your message to the family, to neighbors, to those dealing with this loss?
To this mother who's lost one child and could possibly lose a second, and whose marriage is obviously over, our heart goes out to you.
Yes, Skylar, very interesting.
I certainly will pray for all of you today.
One more question. Was the gun registered?
I don't know that. We know it's a 380 semi-automatic firearm. Again, working through those details now. If we get those, I'll certainly put everything we get out to everybody.
It's crazy.
Yes, it was just a forum who lived in the house, just a forum who were inside the residence when this happened. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, let's chop it up. Video number 1. The mother is not forthcoming. What has she told them that sounds off, peculiar, strange, not cohesive to the evidence seen by paramedics and law officials? Okay, go back. I want everyone to listen to what I'm saying, because I already said this on my community page. Something wasn't right. When I first saw the story the other day, I knew something was wrong. When you hear gunshots, you will know the general area where it's coming from. If you're a single person, you should be the only one running out of a house if someone's shooting inside, such as shooting at you. If you have children, hey, Brittany, if you have children, you would check on your children. So that's suspect number 1. She thought the shooting was inside and she runs outside. I don't know people who run outside to check if they thought it was a shooting inside. 2, if you have children, you check on your children first. Why did she not check on her children? Suspect number 2. She goes out, bangs on the door, talks to the neighbor. He comes out. He says the same thing. He ran out, woo, woo, woo. Why are you running out, sir? So that means he heard the gunshots and he stupidly came outside. Who goes outside while people are shooting? Please explain to me. And I'm going to go ahead and say it on this live. That is ghetto ratchet behavior to run into gunfire, a fight, altercation. Anybody with sense knows if you hear people shooting outside, why are you running out there? It is safer in your house than to run outside. Never heard of anyone running outside to gunfire. For what? She's not cooperating. Why not? You hear they mention the phone. Why is she holding the phone hostage? What's in the phone? Conversations, texts, thoughts of suicide, homicide, somebody threatened somebody. What? We hear that the father brings the child outside, child number 1. The child that's 8, which is the boy child clinging to life. He's been shot multiple times. By the time the cops get there, they see this. They go inside. They go upstairs. There's a 5-year-old girl in the top bunk, shot up several times in the head. So the version the father's giving outside isn't conducive to what's inside. Child number 1 is in his arms bleeding several times. Child number 2 is inside dead, shot several times. He tells them it's an accident. So how can you say this is an accident, child number 1 that you're holding, and then they go upstairs to see child number 2 dead? So what? You shot both of your children accidentally. Everything's in the details. Was she being physically abused, verbally abused? Whose gun is it? Is it a registered gun? He has no criminal record. They didn't mention she had a criminal record. What happened in that house? Rushing to get home to make dinner, blah, blah, blah. That's the version she gave you. And if she's not trying to give you the phone, and she's making up stories about planning for a funeral and her friend needs the phone for pictures, come on with this Cal City version to me. You can send people pictures to put in an obituary. Stay woke. Send them pictures to post on social media. They can get the pictures off your Facebook page or your social media pages if she's on Facebook. I'll wait. You want me to believe this mother wasn't on Facebook? Isn't on Facebook? Most people who have children are on Facebook. What is she covering? Why did he shoot these kids? Is it perhaps they were arguing? They had a disagreement. Or he just went ham and pulled out the gun and started shooting. Bloop, bloop, bloop. She heard the gunshots, ran for her life, not for her children. And if it unfolds this way, many will judge her. You didn't think to go try to save your children, but she would have been putting her own life in the line of fire. We know this. Is that what happened? She was in another part of the house. She said she was in the bathroom, heard gunshots. So that means he was in an adjoining room, because I'm assuming the bathroom is upstairs. Most townhouses have one full bath and a half bath downstairs. So let's say she's on the top floor. The children are on the top floor. Bloop, 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 bloop. He's shooting the children. She bolts out of the bathroom and don't even look in their rooms or nothing. Her room, nothing. She just takes off. I got to get the hell out of here. This man went crazy. So she runs to the neighbor. What did she tell the neighbor? What did she tell the neighbor? Because I find it strange. He runs outside, which you know he would have heard it if he's right directly next door to her on either side. He would have heard, that sounds like that's coming from inside the apartment, condo, whatever. But he's stupid. He's stupid too. Why are you running outside if you thought somebody was shooting outside? And what did he say to them when they saw baby number 2 dead? Nothing. Waved his rights. Didn't say nothing. Going to bring you said commentary pertaining to this baffling story out of Tampa. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats and stickers are welcome to this live. And I am also starting membership to this channel. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let's see what's going on in Tampa. He's been granted a hefty bond. Hefty bond. September 2nd is this content. News 9 coming out of Tampa. The man facing charges in the shootings of his own children that left one dead and another critical waived his first appearance in court Wednesday. Jermaine LaVonda Bass, 30, is facing charges of first-degree premeditated murder and first-degree attempted premeditated murder after his 8-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter were shot Monday night in their Tampa home. A 5-year-old girl was pronounced dead at Tampa General Hospital. An 8-year-old boy remains in critical condition. That has been now downgraded to stable for those in the chat listening. The state asked for a pretrial detention hearing, which has been scheduled for Friday, September 2nd. His appearance has been waived for that hearing as well. So both hearings have been waived. According to deputies, the shooting happened just after 10:30 p.m. at a home in Amateur Gate Townhomes in the 13,000 block of Heritage Club Drive. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister said the children's mother was in the bathroom and Bass was putting them to bed. She heard gunshots and, assuming they were outside, went out of the home to check. Moments later, Bass was found holding the 8-year-old and calling for help and saying it was an accident, Chronister said. A short time later, as deputies arrived, they found the 5-year-old in the top bed of the bunk beds with gunshot wounds to the head. Both were rushed to Tampa General Hospital. Each child had 2 to 3 gunshot wounds to the head, Chronister said, adding that Bass later admitted to shooting the children. So he's giving information. I hope that this individual feels the full weight of the criminal justice system, an emotional chronicler said at Tuesday's news conference, and never sees the light of day where he can ever be in a position to harm another human being. Neighbors were sending prayers to the family Tuesday afternoon. I can't imagine how something like that could happen, said Natalia Canty. I can't imagine what that mother's going through right now. It's just awful. Another neighbor, Arthur Matos, said, things happen between grown people, but the kids, they don't have to be between that. That's so sad. Chronicler said this is something so horrific that no parent should experience and no first responder should witness. He wants those at the scene and those in the community struggling to know help is available. Meredith Grau, a licensed mental health counselor, says the tragedy will have widespread impact, reminding that people deal with traumatic grief differently. Those people that know this family and can be a support and wrap their arms around to see what steps are next, I think is really important. And anyone who's needing to talk and get support further can certainly call 211, she said. Retired police officer Meg Ross is the first responder ambassador for the Crisis Center. She encourages those who respond to talk about what they saw. It's very common, of course, for anger, but there's grief and they are relating, Ross said. They see these two children and as a parent, they're thinking of their own children. These kind of incidents, they carry with them forever. News 9 is the source. So he did tell the truth that he shot both children. But where the story makes no sense is at the beginning, where she runs out of the house instead of looking around her own house. When you let off a gunshot, it is going to echo inside of a structure. So there would be no reason for you to think it was outside because you're in the structure with the gunshot. So how does she think it was outside? I believe something popped off between the two. I believe they were arguing, bickering. They had a fight. It was something. Something happened. She's not telling the whole truth of what happened that day. She possibly hasn't told the truth about what's been going on in their marriage. Is somebody having an affair? Is somebody cheating? Is this a financial situation? Is somebody out of a job? Is somebody carrying the weight of the family? Is somebody just bitter, angry, disgusted, schizophrenic? What are we talking about here? As this commentary reads, children should not be involved in grown folks' business. Leave the children out of it. I was thinking the other day about terrible accidents, such as gruesome scenes, crime scenes, and what the first responders see. And lo and behold, this content says the same. Imagine what the first responders saw, seeing a boy child shot in the head, girl child shot in the head few times, excuse me. Why are you shooting your children? Did your children make you mad? Because first you said it was an accident when you were holding the boy. But then when the police came on the scene and saw that the little girl was shot, you couldn't use that excuse because how are you going to explain two children shot multiple times? Why would you shoot your children? Were you mad at the mother? You want to make her pay? I'll make you suffer. Breathe every day knowing I murdered our children. Too easy to kill you. Or was he trying to kill her? She got away. And he didn't want to shoot her in front of the neighbor or the neighborhood. I don't know because I don't know his frame of mind. I know he's sick because he just murdered two kids. But see, murderers pick and choose who they want to kill. Sometimes they kill the whole family, then themselves. Sometimes they just kill the children. Sometimes they just kill the wife, the husband. Sometimes they kill the other relatives. It depends on that individual. But we do not know if he was gunning for her. Perhaps he was going to go to the next room, shoot her, then shoot himself. I don't know. Will he speak and tell the truth to why he murdered the children? Why he lied initially and didn't say, yes, I killed my son and I also killed the 5-year-old upstairs? Why was the 5-year-old sleeping in the top bunk? Usually smaller children sleep on the bottom bunk. I found that strange. Children are known to fall out of beds, but most bunk beds will have a railing. But I was just thinking, why wasn't the smaller child sleeping in the bottom bunk? Interesting. Why is she withholding the phone? What is in that cell phone? Did he catch her doing something, talking to someone? Did she meet somebody? Did she have a fling, a relationship? Meet somebody on social media, sending nasty texts, dirty texts, sex talk, filthy pictures? I don't know. Maybe she caught him doing something. And she told him, hey, I'm going to take the kids. I'm leaving you. I'm done with you. I'm tired of you. Hey, I want you out of here. Maybe she didn't want him living there anymore. Who knows? So I'll get to her. I'll get her kids. I'll get her kids. I can get to her kids. They're not my kids. Because he forfeited that right when he decided to shoot the children. So they were her children on that fateful night. But where I have a problem with her is her version of running out when hearing gunshots. It makes no logical sense. You don't run into the fire. The neighbor running into the fire, that's odd. What did she say to the neighbor verbatim? I hear gunshots. And he's out. I hear gunshots. Both of you running together hearing gunshots. You know how ridiculous this sounds? Two dodo birds running outside into the fire. Do the math. Was she afraid of her husband? That's why she didn't tell the whole truth. I'm not getting ready to run and tell them this man's trying to kill me. He's still breathing, got a gun. He might come out here and shoot me. So she just made up something saying, oh, I ran out here because I thought I heard something. But see, this is how you know she's lying. The obvious. I don't even know why I didn't think of this. When she ran to the neighbor, why would you run to the neighbor to say, I heard gunshots out here? Think about it. Why would you run outside to a neighbor to say, hey, what's going on? I hear gunshots. When you have a husband inside your house that you could run to. Ting. I'll tell you, everything you need to know is at the beginning of the story. Not the middle, not the end. A woman runs out of her house with her husband, doesn't know what's going on in there, but runs to a neighbor who happens to be a man, I believe, to say, I hear gunshots out here. She left 2 children and a whole man to run to another man's house to say, I hear gunshots outside. And don't you find it strange? That's his version as well. What kind of evidence? Thank you, TZ. She ran to her man for help. You do not know what is the truth about what happened that night. All this shenanigans about running home, trying to fix something to eat, tucking the children into the bed. There's a lie in there, and you all didn't even catch that. The article says, plus the video, she was running, rushing to get home to fix dinner, to tuck her children in the bed. But the other content I bring you says the father was tucking the children into the bed. And the little girl was giggling or something. So who actually tucked the children into the bed? Could it be the wife was somewhere else that night? Ting! Don't do it to him, Queen. Are y'all listening? Could it be the wife just came home from next door or the neighbors and was caught? See, something that a fan said a while ago on my channel, on a live or in the comment section. One, there's a little bit of truth in the lies. Correct. Matter of fact, that's one of the fans from Florida. Might be on to something. Rushing to get home. Was she rushing because she's supposed to have been at home a while ago? And she has her foot in the trap. And she knows she better get home before her other foot gets caught in the trap. But instead, her children were the bait. Could this be two itty-bitty spiders sacrificial lambs for misdeeds of the mother? Yes, great point, T. Babies were probably already sleeping. The dad saw his wife come from the neighbor's house. Where does this man live in proximity to their townhouse? Left side, right side, or across the street? Is it possible the mother was already on the property and had walked over to another man's home for some hanky-panky? What are we talking about? Or are we just talking about a very bitter man who's mad at the world, mad at his wife? They're having marital problems. What are we speaking of? But the fact that she doesn't want anyone to see her phone to make funeral arrangements is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Because you can send photographs to a person and they can take the pictures and download them to paper. So she's hiding something on her phone. What is it? What will her cell phone reveal? I bet it's some hot mess. Is she the one that shot the children? Ting! You wasn't expecting that, didn't you? Is he covering for his wife? Ting! She says she don't think the husband did it. Oops! I left that out. That was at the first video I played. The plot thickens. Hanky-panky on the wife's part. Hanky-panky on the husband's part. Schizophrenic husband, crazy wife. Do we have a crazy wife on our hands? Bitter, mad, homicidal, depressed, mad at the husband. I'll kill your kids, not mine. Who actually killed the children? Because him saying he did it is just enough for them to close the case, keep it moving. One off the bulletin board. Hundreds more to go. Who actually shot the boy child and the girl child? Because the fact that the mother doesn't want to give up her phone leads you to believe that possibly daddy didn't shoot the children. The mother could have done it. Because there's something off in this story, as I told you. When I first heard it the other night, I replayed it. I said, I know I didn't hear what they said. Why is she running out of the house but heard the gunshots outside? And she has children in her house. You go check on your children first. You want me to believe you were shooting inside of a structure and you can't tell that that's a gunshot on the inside of your house? It's going to echo. It's going to echo. She knew damn well where the gunshots came from. Because either she shot those children or he shot them. He went loco. She ran for cover to the neighbor, made up some mangy story to him. He's acting like her for some weird reason I don't understand. One of them shot those kids. And it will be even more crazy if we later find out the father didn't shoot the kids. The mother did it. What will forensics show us? Residue on the children's facial, head versus the gun. How close proximity are the gunshots? Blood spatter on clothing. Smart of him to hold the child bleeding if he did do it, because now there's transference. He has a reason to explain it in court through a lawyer. Well, his DNA is going to be on him. That's his kid. He held his child. Were the children actually asleep when they were shot? Or were they still awake? Children don't automatically go to bed just because you put them in the bed. What was the dynamic between husband and wife? Got along, loving, caring? What? As I said, family problems, family troubles, extramarital affairs, entanglements, financial issues, somebody working, somebody ain't working, somebody ain't holding their weight. What happened? Pretty K, exactly. The son will hold the key, plus whatever evidence they find on the mother's phone and the father's cell phone and devices, yes. Imagine going to court thinking you killed both of your children. You've left no witnesses. But oh my goodness, the son is the sole survivor to testify to who shot him in that house and why. Imagine that. Imagine a child getting on the witness stand or in another room testifying that his father shot him or his mother shot him and his sister. Was this a planned attack on the children? We have seen diabolical double teams of couples and parents who maliciously murdered their children. You wasn't expecting that, now were you? Will you be even more surprised and devastated if you find out later they both are in cahoots with murdering the children? Want to be free? Say it was an accident. Tired of these children. This is a hot butter mess. I talked to Chris Thorns yesterday and told him about the story. He should have some content to his channel. Please check out the Chris Thorns show. I'd like to get with him later to see if he'd like to give me his opinion pertaining to this story. Matter of fact, while I'm here live, I'm going to give him a call. Thank you all so much for joining me. And see if he has an opinion for this debacle down in Tampa. Thank you for joining me. The father's confessed to killing, and the mother is saying she don't think the father did it. I don't know. Yes, both parents could have wanted the children dead. He's not answering. He's probably at work. One second. All right, everybody. I always try to make you think, because sometimes what you think is going on is not. And that's the thing about a story. You only have what's been given to you by the detectives, the district attorney's office, and the people involved in the story. And there have been those times when what was told was not the truth, that perhaps somebody lied, somebody covered for somebody else. This could be the situation here. I do not know. But as I said, when the story unfolds and you see a discrepancy, I saw a discrepancy. All bets are off for me. I already know there's some smoke in the city, and there is. And I got it via law enforcement. She's not cooperating. And that leads me to believe that whatever version she gave, it's not the truth. And for her to sit up and say, I don't think he killed these kids. Well, then let's go there. Well, ma'am, who do you think shot your damn children? The boogeyman? Was it Santa Claus, a little elf? Who was it? Nobody's in the house but you and the two kids. Nobody lives in the house but you and the two kids. So who came in your house and shot your children and walked right past you and walked downstairs and walked out of the door? So what are you saying? Somebody was lying in wait and just shot your children? And then what? Moseyed on down the stairs? Or what? They climbed out of the window? Make it make sense for me. I'm confused. I don't think my husband did it. Well, who did it? You didn't do it. He didn't do it. So who killed your kids? One child is in stable condition. We got to wait to see if that child will be able to talk and tell us what happened. You thought the gunshots were outside. You ran past your husband and your two children to go outside, and your neighbor just so happens to come out too with the same version you just gave. Oh, I thought I heard gunshots outside. Two people. Are y'all listening? Two people thought they heard gunshots outside. That's interesting to me. There's some hanky-panky going on in here. Something's off with the story. What it is, I do not know. But the mother is hiding something or covering up something for herself and her husband, or both. Something is off. Was she in the bathroom texting or talking to the neighbor guy? Could be. Could be talking to anybody. Could be talking to another woman. Could be talking to another man. Maybe he knew she was in there flirting and talking to somebody. Maybe he overheard something that sounded suspicious. And he said, I got her. I caught her. Or I caught her again. I'm going to shoot these kids. I'm going to hit her in the gut. I'm going to hit her where I know it's going to hurt her. I don't know. But when I get more information, I will bring you the said commentary. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I'm not going to hold you. It's a beautiful night here in the high 10, and I want you all to be able to enjoy your weekend. There's more content I am looking forward to bringing you guys. Each content that I bring you will be posted to my community board. This is a very serious story because, as the police said, what first responder wants to see this? You never want to see children injured. It doesn't matter if it was a real accident. A gun went off. A child was playing with another gun, shot another child, fell off the monkey bars, fell out of a window. It's still a child. Pretty K says, I'm reading she was seeing someone else. We will see. But in the end, you see how it turned out if indeed she was out in the street with somebody else, liking somebody else. Her husband stole her children. And I keep saying her because once a person decides to kill the children, they have removed themselves as the caregiver, if you understand what I'm saying. So they are no longer his children. They are her children. If indeed he killed the kids to get back at the mother. Thank you all so much. Thank you for the love and support. Please check out Dolly Parton's new movie when it comes out this winter, Mountain Magic Christmas. I have a tendency to say Magic Mountain. But it is Mountain Magic Christmas starring Willie Nelson, I believe Miley Cyrus, Billy Ray Cyrus, Jimmy Fallon, and some other stars that I got to see while I was filming. I can't remember their names because I'm getting old, but thank you all so much for the love and support. God bless all of you. I should be in 2 scenes, the casino scene sitting in the front row and the scene where we're on the steps and Dolly Parton is in the front singing. So that's the gist of that. The movie has wrapped. Filming is over. I will be looking for other movies to jump in. And I pray that the next time I come back, I will be telling you of a role where I'm speaking and not in the background. Thank you so much. I don't have all the details yet, sweetheart. I think it might be NBC if I'm not mistaken. I think this is an NBC production if I'm not mistaken. If not, I will put a correction in the in this video. Yes, I'm going to manifest it. I am. I'm going to think positive. But yes, when I relax this weekend, that's what I will be doing, is looking for some upcoming roles on true crime shows that are filmed here locally in Knoxville, Tennessee. And many of you have heard of those shows. Snap, what I did for my man, those said true crime. That's what I will be looking forward to doing. It's just a matter of them picking me, and we go from there. Thank you all so much for the love. God bless you all. Once again, if you'd like to donate to this network, Everyday Shenanigans, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. You all be safe. Stay hydrated. See something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Good night, everybody. Stay tuned for more information pertaining to this story, because he will have a court appointment, I believe, on Monday. This guy, Mr. Bass. We will see what happens. We will see if he will enter in a plea. We will see if he gets a bench trial. Just let the judge give him a rendering. But the thing that's baffling, and I'm sorry I didn't say this 51 minutes in, the fact that the judge gave him a bond, high bond, can he make that bond? And if he can make that bond, what if he walks out of here? Because she said the state didn't prove the burden of what they said they were trying to prove, which is what? That he did it. I'm assuming that's what she meant. Sorry I left that out. So why didn't they bring the proof? But see, the proof comes with 1, admission, 2, forensics, 3, eyewitness testimony, and 4, other devices that would lead one to say, yeah, he did it. But I find it weird she said they didn't make their proof in court. And I guess they're like, well, he told us he did it. So what else do you want? This is a very strange story. And like she said, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me giving him this bond. Yeah, hell, there's going to be a whole lot of folks that disagree, because some people are going to say, well, he ain't got that kind of money to bond out, but you don't know what he got. You don't know who he knows. You might find some people that want to get the money up and get him out. We have seen this happen with random people, and people come forward thinking they're innocent, and they get GoFundMe started, and before you know it, the person is free. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you so much. Yes, I hope next time I will be starting a movie. That would be great. A TV show will be just as I'd be just as pleased with a TV show. With a lot of less walking, because that's all we did for takes. Out of the auditorium, back to the stairs. Back from the stairs, back to the auditorium. We did that so many times, I thought I was going to scream. I'm telling you right now, my legs are like jello from all that walking. I said, well, I needed some exercise, so I got it. Since I'm looking a little puffy, maybe I haven't had enough sleep, and that is the truth. I have not had any sleep. I've not had a lot of sleep because I stayed up late. Thank you all so much for joining me. God bless all of you. Pretty K, I'm reading comments and they all saying why she ran outside. Yeah, because that's what got me when I first listened to the story on the video of the sheriff or whomever speaking. I said, why would a person run out and they have children? I said, the only way I can see her running out is if she was threatened and he was waving a gun or shooting at her. And that's another thing. Will they see bullet holes somewhere else in the house to show that maybe he was shooting at her in the house or just shooting out of anger? We will see. Maybe she wasn't even in the bathroom. Maybe she was downstairs. See, this live can go on and on because you can come up with 1,000 different scenarios. Was she actually in the bathroom? Was she in a bathroom that was downstairs? Or was she in a bathroom that was upstairs? I'm just assuming upstairs. Could have been one downstairs she was in. Where was she actually when he fired the shots to the first child? And who did he shoot first? That's another thing. Did he shoot the baby in the bunk bed on top first, or the son on the bottom bunk? Were the children woke, as I asked? What the hell was going on with these two? Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, honey. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you so much. You said I have talent and charisma. Well, I do believe I do. Thank you so much. I toot my own horn, honey. But thank you. I appreciate it. You all stay tuned. I'll bring you more information pertaining to this story. And I also want to bring you a story pertaining to a woman out of Memphis, Tennessee the other day. She shot her ex-husband's girlfriend. She's a singer, and she had some bookings in Memphis. They've now canceled it. I'd like to know what the hell was she thinking. I'd like to talk about that tomorrow, if I can, if you all don't mind. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about Mr. Trump and the monkeypox situation that's going on. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you. God bless all of you. Be safe.